Hey guys, Luke here. I'm here to do a video previewing round 12 of the 2015 NRL Premiership season, and it's going to be 5 games this week, usually 6, but because of Origin, obviously, a few teams got the bye. It's going to be like that for the next few weeks, and I think it was also last week as well. It'll also be interesting to see how many players end up backing up for their clubs after playing Origin. But yeah, let's get into the first game, which is Penrith taking on the Eels. Now, I believe both sides didn't really have any participants in Origin apart from Hopewadi, which I think he should be good to go. You'd think didn't have that much to do Origin, although he did play pretty well. Looking at the lineups, I'd have to say Panthers are sort of, I don't know if they're back at full strength. Obviously, like Idris is missing and that he's going to be missing for a long time, but probably one of the strongest sides they put out this year. Seguiara is back, Soward, Peter Wallace, Matt Moylan. Like the spine is completed. We're up against the Eels, who, you know, still swapping and changing. Sando's back this week. Robinson's back at fullback. You know, they're just all over the shop. The Eels. In saying that though, they're just, like I said many times this year, they're a side that if they get their shit together, they can really pile on some points. But I just can't see it happening this week. And I think Panthers just be too strong. They're too good of a unit together. Individually, they might not be the strongest, but as a unit, they're very, very strong. I can see Panthers winning this 13+. Moving on to the Titans taking on the Rabbitohs. Now, this should be an interesting one. Inglis looks very out of form as of late. I'm just looking at anyone else who played Origin, that sort of stuff. I mean, Nate Miles, I don't know if he'll back up. But, you know, both sides didn't really have anybody playing. But, yeah, Inglis didn't play too well, possibly an injury. Obviously, Rabbitohs big depleted at the moment. But Isaac Luke coming back into the starting side, as he did, well, he played last week. But I think that's a good move for them. They definitely need him starting. But yeah, Inglis, I don't know how fit he is. But yeah, he definitely needs to start firing pretty soon for the Rabbitohs, especially with Adam Reynolds being out. And I think the Titans have actually been somewhat okay this year. Might not have won every game or, you know, being competitive every game, but being competitive for most games, which is a good thing. They've had a pretty consistent lineup, so no real swapping and changing, that sort of stuff. And they've got a lot of youngsters who are going to get better with every game. But yeah, I can definitely see Titans pulling off an upset. I'm not even sure if you'd consider it an upset. I know Rabbitohs, they're a bigger name side, like on paper. Like when you look at Rabbitohs and Titans, Rabbitohs, you go, oh, okay, Rabbitohs won the premiership last year and that, but look at their side. They lost a lot of players, Sam Burgess, Teo, that sort of stuff. Plus now Adam Reynolds out. They just don't win without Adam Reynolds. It's hard to tip this one, but I think just because it's at home, just no injuries really. Well, if Nate Miles plays, I'll go with the Titans 1-12. I think I don't know, but I could see either team's winning. Moving on to Raiders taking on the Broncos. This should be another interesting one. Raiders having zero Origin players. Also, like last week, the huge comeback they had, and then to still lose. They can take a lot of confidence out of that, but still at the same time they didn't end up winning. So I'm not sure the exact mind frame you would sort of have after that. In saying that though, the Broncos been in great form. I can't remember if they're actually top of the table. I think if they're not top of the table, they're very close to it. Justin Hodges had an incredible game in Origin, and as well as they're just fresh off a win. So all those Origin players, Gillett, Parker, Friday, Maguire. There's a lot of them. There is a lot. So they've got a lot more confidence, even more than what they had in previous weeks. So I can definitely see Broncos, just running all over the top. Oh, sorry, Darius Boyd. Should mention him as well. Another game back. But yeah, I can really see Broncos running all over the top of the Raiders. And I do think that I don't expect there to be any sort of comeback from the Raiders this time. I think Broncos would be just way too strong. But at the same time, it could also work against Broncos, the fact that they're having to back up not too much longer after, a very physical game of Origin. Also, will Hodges back up? How many of these guys will back up? That's the main thing. Hodges doesn't back up that often. Well, at least I don't think so anyway. Maybe that's just a little bit of a myth more than a fact. But yeah, it could be a blessing in disguise for Raiders not having. Well, not in disguise, but a blessing for the Raiders not having anybody. Just the fact that they're all going to be nice and fit. And the last time they played, they should have a lot of confidence from coming back from huge points. They can score points. Is basically what I'm trying to say. And yeah, Broncos might just not have the energy to get up for it, but remains to be seen. I'm going to say Broncos 13+. Moving on to the Cowboys and the Sea Eagles, another interesting game. Sea Eagles didn't have anybody playing in State of Origin. At least I can't see you anyways. But yeah, definitely a good side, but no Cherry Evans this week. Tom Simons and Foran in the halves. I'm not really sure how they'll work, but if Brett Stewart fires, they're definitely a chance. Foran needs to take a lot of control in this game, but I'd say Michael Morgan would be an even better player this week. Jonathan Thurston, he's pretty solid. Matt Scott, and this is another one where they've got a lot of players who played Origin, but whether they back up, that's another story there. I think Cowboys, as long as they have a majority of the people back up, or basically Thurston and Morgan, or at least one of them, I think they should be able to get the job done. I don't think Manly are particularly impressive, and being up at 1300 Smile Stadium, I'm expecting a pretty solid performance by Cowboys, and I'm expecting a big win, 13+. A lot of 13 pluses this week. Got 3 more games left. We got Warriors taking on the Knights this time. Sam Tompkins are back for the Warriors. I think that's a big plus for them. Actually, he might have played last time, can't remember, but Sam Tompkins, I think him coming in just completes the side, really. I think Townsend Johnson, pretty good half pairing friend. He's doing an okay job. I do think Illawarra is going to be a big loss for them. I think he was going really well at hooker. But yeah, Nathan Friend, he's been there, done that. He's very experienced. They got the Havili dude on the bench. Interesting to see how he goes. I think at home, Warriors be too strong, but in terms of the night side, it looks okay. But yeah, I'm still not too convinced by them. Yeah, Bo Scott, interesting to see if he plays. Read that he's actually got a bit of an ankle injury, and I think if he doesn't play, it's like a definite loss. But yeah, I think even if he plays, they're going to be up against it, and it's another 13+ that I'm expecting from the Warriors. I think they'll be way too strong. Moving on to the Dragons and the Sharks, usually a pretty good game, I think, between these two. Dugan backing up, as well as Trent Merrin for the Dragons, and Fafita backing up for the Sharks. I think that's all there is. I might have missed one, I can't remember. But basically, I think Dragons will be too strong for the Sharks, but I think it should be a nice competitive game. I think Sharks haven't been playing too bad, and Dragons, obviously a very solid side, seem to grind out some games, so it could be quite a good game. Barber still at fullback. I don't really know. I'm not really sold on it. Though he did seem to play probably one of his better games, I suppose, last game that I remember anyways. But yeah, Blake Ashford in the centres. Probably unfairly gets shit on right now, because he's probably just had a bad run of form last year, and he's probably actually okay now, but I haven't really watched, so I don't really know what's going on with the Sharks. But if I had to pick a winner, I'm just going to say Dragons, just because they've been more consistent this year, and probably the better side this year, for sure, you'd have to say, especially with no Gallen for Sharks. And the last game of the round, and also for scoreline, I'll say 1-12, just because Dragons, not necessarily a huge scoring side. And then we're moving on to the last game of the round, which is the Roosters and the Storm, which should be a cracker. And I share the fact, both sides, very, very strong sides, and I think the Storm, full of confidence with Cooper Cronk having, a really good game, Cameron Smith getting the official man of the match, and I think Billy Slater had a really strong game. And Will Chambers, who I think could easily have got man of the match on the wing, back in the centres this game, but incredible game from Will Chambers. He did really, really well there. He's up against the Roosters. We all know how good they are. Pearce bouncing back, or Kenny bounced back. Tupou didn't have the best of game. Jennings didn't play very well. A lot of the Roosters guys didn't really have too great of games, so it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back. They are at home, which should favour them a little bit, but I'm going to tip the Storm. I think they'll have a little bit too much. Just like I said, they're very consistent, the Storm, and I think that usually can get up for the big games. And yeah, I can just see, I don't know, for some reason I just feel that they're just going to win. I will say 1-12 just to be safe. And the other two teams having the buys are the Tigers and the Bulldogs. But yeah, this is, it is a hard one to pick, this one, because you don't know who's going to back up, who's going to be backing up, how a team's going to be affected, fatigue-wise, that sort of stuff. But yeah, hopefully we get majority of them right, or maybe if I tipped against your side, don't get them right. But basically, that's the end of the video. Hopefully, you've enjoyed it. Leave in the comments your predictions for this week. If you want to follow me on Twitter, at Mr. Luke and YT is my Twitter handle. We can discuss footy, and I've also got users Rugby League Live 3 and all that sort of stuff. Also, I've got a Facebook page in the description below, which is a link to my Twitter, so you can just see everything I do on Twitter. And yeah, make sure you leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.